Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and joining me is LPGA professional Cindy Miller, and we are your hosts. We're broadcasting live every Tuesday morning from 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern here on the blogtalkradio.com network, bringing you some of the best golfers, teacher professionals, and entrepreneurs helping to elevate women's golf. We're so glad you decided to join us this morning, so grab your coffee and let's get started. All right, good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining us here this morning on the Women of Golf Show. I'm Ted Odorico, and right alongside, of course, is LPGA professional and Legends Tour player Cindy Miller, the host of the Women of Golf Show. Good morning, Cindy. How are you?
I'm doing well, Ted. How are you?
I'm doing well as well. As we were just talking about off air, I just got back from a short little vacation out in California, and glad to be back. Had a great time. Don't get me wrong. We had a great time out there, and but I am glad to be back. And of course, we were off air last week because of that. So, looking forward to sort of digging back in. We got a great show this morning, Cindy. We've got two great guests starting off here from the Symetra Tour. We've got Patty Tavatanakit, and she's going to be joining us here in just a moment. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we're going to be joined a little bit later on in the show by Robbie Raugh, who is a registered nurse as well as an integrative nutritionist and motivational health and fitness speaker, and also radio host of the Raw Truth. So we're going to talk to her a little bit later on in the show. But how are things going with you, Cindy? What's new and exciting? What plates are you spinning this week?
What am I doing this week? It's kind of a chill week until the end of the week, where I get to go to Corning, New York for the Legends Tour Invitational. Corning Country Club is having its 100th anniversary, and 26 former LPGA Tour players, including me, are going to go to Corning, and we're going to play. I'm in a shootout on Friday with 9 former champions and me, and then Saturday's a Pro-Am to celebrate their 100th anniversary. So I'm really excited about that.
Very good. Play well and have a great time as well with some of your fellow Legends Tour players. Always exciting, when you get to play an event like that, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, because I don't know if you read my article over the weekend in the Buffalo News about, never being good enough. Right. So it's a really big deal to me. Patty Rizzo was invited. She's the head women's golf coach at the University of Miami, my alma mater, where I went, and she hurt her knee. So they were going to have 10 former champions in the shootout. Patty hurt herself, so the director of the tournament called me and said, you know what, you've done a lot for this country club, you've done a lot for the LPGA, so we'd like to invite you to take her place. And I said, I'm in. Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to play, but that's a plus for you, and I know you'll do a great job in your spot as well. All right, Cindy, we're going to bring on our first guest. Let me tell you a little bit about her. Again, her name is Patty Tavatanakit, and she's a native of Bangkok, Thailand, although she does reside in California, but she's on her way to another event. She attended the Kirapat International School in her native country and was winner of the Callaway Junior Golf Association Championship in 2014 and named the 2016 American Junior Golf Association's AJGA Player of the Year. She's also a two-time AJGA winner at the 2016 Ping Invitational and Rolex Tournament of Championships. And she's also was a member of the West team at 2017 Wyndham Cup and finished with a 4.00 overall record. She won actually a few weeks ago, Cindy. This is her second win that we're celebrating this week. She was the winner at the 2019 Donald Ross Classic at French Lick a few weeks ago, and then she followed that up with a back-to-back win at the 2019 Danielle Downey Credit Union Classic. So let's welcome our very special guest first up this morning, Patty Tavatanakit.
Good morning.
Good morning. Hi.
Good. Good. Tell everybody now. As I mentioned, you were originally from Thailand, but you're living out in California right now. But you actually had a later flight last night. Where are you this week?
We just got in last night to Albany right now, and we traveled from Rochester yesterday, so it's a bit of a work. But I'm here now, and I'm ready for this new week.
Good. Now, what events are you playing in an event this week?
Yes. It's another Symetra Tour event. It's I don't know the name. I'm so sorry. It's like early in the morning. I didn't really get to look into.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
a lot
that's
of
okay.
like the facts and stuff, but it's been hectic for the past 5 weeks, and this is my 6th week, so I'm a little falling behind with everyone. But I'm gonna catch up throughout the week.
Well, that's good. Well, as long as you made it to the right spot for the tournament, that's the main thing. All right, I'm going to just quickly start off here with just a question or two, and then Cindy, I'm going to throw it over to you. As I mentioned, you won a few weeks ago at the Donald Ross Classic. That was your first professional win. Tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll talk about your recent win here at the Danielle Downey Classic. So how was the Donald Ross Classic?
So in French Lick, the course was really hard. Like the greens were really hard. Like during my practice round, I'm like, what are these? But then, like throughout the week, I think the pin positions are really tough. So I just figured out that, like just put myself in a good position on the green below the cup, and hopefully, like some putts will drop. But I was hitting it pretty solid throughout the week, and then not so well on the second day. I think I shot like only 1 under, but that put me in a really like kind of falling behind position. So I was like 2 or 3 back on the second round, and then going to the last round, I played in like the third to last group off, so I didn't feel a lot of pressure. I would say that was like that week was the idealist way for me to win, because I like chasing and I like to chase. I like the grind. Obviously not for last week, but that week especially, it was something really special, and it was my first win, and I was 2 back and ended up winning by 3. So that was really special because chasing on the last day is not easy, but it's something I really like to do.
So you like to pursue. You enjoy the pursuit of the challenge as opposed to
yes.
Obviously it's nice to be in the lead and always good to be in that position as well. But you kind of like that chase, that sort of adrenaline, if you will. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Now I mentioned also too. Let me ask you before we talk about the Downey Credit Union Classic. You mentioned about French Lick, about it being a very challenging. Was that one of the most challenging courses that you found so far this year?
Yes, French, obviously, yeah, definitely, for sure, because it's hard to walk, one, it was really hilly, and then the greens were so tough, like, you have to be in the right position. I mean, on the second round, I didn't hit a bad shot at all, but I ended up pin high and on the right, and it was the only spot on the green that I should not be on, and I happened to be there, and I four putted from there. So like it tells you, it's just like right after that hole, it just like tells me that okay, know where you can miss around the green and just play from there. So I mean,
right.
It was really tough, and with the wind too. I think on the last 2 days it made it really hard.
Right. Well, I don't know if you know this or not, but as I mentioned in the opening comments and that our co-host here, Cindy Miller, who's an LPGA professional and Legends Tour player, has teed it up at French Lick a number of times. And Cindy, you can attest to how difficult the course is as well, correct?
Well, I've not played the Donald Ross course. We play the Pete Dye course, and Yeah, I can attest to that. It's like a nightmare. But I mean, it's beautiful, but it's defensive golf. Holy cow, this is so hard. And you just have to be patient. So I get it, right?
Yes, that's the key right there to every golf course too. Just be patient.
Well, and I think
I don't
Cindy,
like to be
it really,
patient.
yeah. Well, I think Cindy too. It really goes to positioning. Yeah, as she was saying, she was in the one spot she didn't want to be on one of the greens, and ultimately ended up four putting. So, getting in the right position is key for that. So, Cindy, go ahead, and I know you've got some questions for Patty as well.
I would like to know when your first ever professional event was, because I believe it was fairly recently.
Yes, I made the pro debut at the U.S. Women's Open in South Carolina. Just, I believe, a month or 2 months ago.
Holy cow!
Wow.
So, how many Symetra Tour events have you played in? 4?
Yes, last week was my 4th.
Okay, so you're on a mission.
And you won.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she won 2 of them. Wow.
So let me
ahead,
ask
Cindy.
you: are you? How many years have you been in the U.S. and how long have you played golf?
Well, I started playing golf at the age of 8, and living in the U.S. This is my second year because I moved to L.A. my freshman year because I went to UCLA and I left halfway. I'm supposed to be a junior there, and yeah, I've been living in LA ever since I moved to college. But other than that, I would just come here every summer to play junior golf, play junior world, play like a bunch of tournaments during the summer, and then go back and study. And I started to play HAGA at the age of, I believe, 15 or 14, and then ever since, if I get any invitation to play in the invitational tournaments, and I'll fly over and play, because my goal is to come here and get the education and hopefully turn pro. And apparently I turned pro before I graduated, so that's what I did so far.
Who taught you while you were in Thailand?
My dad has always been my coach in my entire life. He helped me with golf, with everything, even like my mental game, on like the basic stuff. But yeah.
Is he a golf professional?
He's not a golf professional. He's a golf fanatic.
That is awesome. Tell
Wow.
your dad, congratulations, great job. Is he over here with you?
No, he's up in his room. He's up in the room right now. I'm like down in the lobby just to.
Oh, but he's traveling with you.
Yeah, he is traveling with me everywhere. So it helped a lot, like he can just tell me like what's wrong, like in the middle of the round, and we would just, apply those kind of like what I have to feel and then put it in my play box. I don't know if you guys know what play box is, but it's basically
I do.
What? Yes, like over the ball, and I just only think about what I should feel and just like not think about the result. So I apply a lot of stuff and technical and also like mental, and it's been helping me a lot since the start of my pro career.
Have you ever been to see Lynn Marriott and Pia Nelson? Because that's Think Box, Play Box is a lot of their stuff.
I saw them before I came out to play Symetra Tour. I just want to have more tools in my bag to be able to come out here and compete, and I feel more ready. And I've been keeping in touch with them, and they're in Europe right now, and it's been good. Just focusing on what I can control, and it made golf more fun for me. Like I went to a 3-day camp and it changed my whole perspective towards golf. I enjoy it more. I love it more. I even like when it's hard. Like it's just so fun to see that, like, not every day's your day.
That's awesome. And are you friends with Maria and Aria?
In area, we know each other, but like they're obviously way older, and I'm like only 19. They're like what, 25, 24. So like I've never really, like growing up play with them, but yeah, I would see them around. And we say hi to each other. So, but yeah, they motivated me to be right here where I am, and just kind of work hard. I would say her 3 in a row win that year. I believe it was like 3 years ago. That really helped motivated me to want to be Rolex Junior Player of the Year, and which I did. And ever since, like I looked up to them and how good of a golfer they are, and it's just helped because they make golf in Thailand grow a lot more, and I am looking forward to that too.
Awesome. Go ahead, Ted.
Very, very good. So let me ask you, just while you were mentioning it, Patty, you said you went to a 3-day camp and it really sort of changed your perspective on things. What specifically can you recall from that experience that helped you change? What specifically were you taught there and that sort of helped put you on a slightly different path than what you had been?
Well, I think mainly I figured out that I understand the nature of golf and the nature of, human skills more. And I understand that, yes, I am a perfectionist. If I putt, I can always find something like, okay, that wasn't a solid stroke, or like I feel like I hit that too hard, but it like went in. But other than that, it changed my perspective in the sense that I understand that human skills, we make mistakes, and how I think I accept the truth better, as in, just take whatever's there, just take whatever's come, because you have more and more and more golf ahead of you. It doesn't make sense for you to like waste your like energy just on one shot. Just take it and move on, kind of perspective. And it made golf a little more enjoyable for me, in the sense that like I can, look at how my body's doing, and it's just not about the result, because naturally every golfer, we're result oriented, we're outcome oriented, and I think that's like more than enough for us to get frustrated and get hard on ourselves. But like more than that, I feel like it's just the process of being aware of my body and my mind and my golf game, and improve from there. It's a really fun process. It's just I would say I'm not like focused on my result. It's just I'm focusing on my process, and it's been helping me. Like I'm playing well because I'm not thinking about playing well. That's basically what's been working for me.
So
wow.
I guess, yeah, that's fantastic.
I love that.
I guess to sort of sum that up, basically what it's taught you to do is to relax more on the golf course and not be so uptight and focused on, as you said, the results all the time. Obviously, the results are going to take care of itself through, hard work and preparation. But learning to relax and be calm in the moment is really what you're talking about, correct?
Yes, but like, like here and there, I still have that tenseness in myself. But I would say, I've become more relaxed going to Vision 54, and it helped me to become a more happier golfer.
Well, and that's also going to parlay out into your everyday life too, even off the golf course. That's going to help you, have more enjoyment, because you're exactly right. I think as golfers, on the professional level, I think you tend to be very hard on yourselves if you're not making every putt or hitting every shot just so. It can really kind of play and mess with your mind a little bit. So. Let me ask you, as I mentioned, you won the Donald Ross Classic a few weeks ago, and then you backed it up with another win at the Danielle Downey Credit Union Classic. here just a week ago. So what, from your first win a few weeks ago at the Donald Ross, which obviously, as I mentioned earlier, was your first win, what did you learn from that win that helped you to close the door, if you will, on your second win? What was different about the wins, do you think?
It was different because I was so tired. It was my fourth week, and I didn't expect to win again. I just really what I was trying to do was just, focus on my golf game and just try to make less mistakes as possible, because this course last week was really narrow. It was a totally different course and different kind of view. In my eyes, I would say it didn't really fit my eye on the first day of the practice round, but focusing on my play box really helped keep my ball in play. And ever since, I've been hitting solid. So if I keep my ball in play, then I have a chance to making birdies, which I did. But the difference was that I had a 5-shot lead going into the last round, and it was kind of a weird situation for me to be in, because I didn't know what my mindset should be. And it my last round was kind of miserable for the first couple of holes, because I was hitting it fine, but I wasn't making putts, because I wasn't, there's no clarity in my mind what was I doing that day. But then a hole out on number 8 kind of loosened up everything, and I just play from there. So I think that's the difference, the mindset going into the last round. But with that 5-shot lead, if you screw up, and I'm probably gonna be so sad afterwards. But it was the play box that kept me going that round.
Very, very good. And obviously you went in certainly not with the expectation to win again, but obviously you did have some confidence from the previous week, because you played a very challenging course at French Lick, and there were difficult walking, as you said, and the greens were difficult. So that obviously, knowing that you could play a challenging course like that had to give you some confidence, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. But but at the same time, I mentioned how it's not the same, as in it was narrow, and with the wind, with those tree line courses, it's hard to judge the wind. So controlling the ball flight is definitely crucial out there. That's what I've been doing last week. So I was hitting a low flight, or maybe a cut into the hole, or a low punch in, and kind of control my spin. So that helped a lot. And obviously the variety of shots definitely matters out there when it's windy and you don't know what's going on up there, and you can't feel it because the tree's blocking the wind, but the wind's blowing up there. So it was hard and it was challenging. But I learned a lot just from playing at French Lick, and also in Cincinnati, and even up in Harris, my first Symetra Tour event. Ever since, even from Nationals this year, at Blessings, it was the hardest golf course I've ever played in my life, and I learned a lot from that. Just a whole new perspective right after that week at the Blessings. And then right after Blessings, I told myself anything's possible. This course is really hard, and I went through it for 4 or 5 days, and I just told myself I can play anywhere from now on. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and that's a positive thing to have that confidence in that, to know that you can do it, and to be able to step up there and actually do it. Speaks volumes. You also mentioned, just sort of finally here as we kind of get ready to wrap up, you mentioned that you did a workout when you got to where you are now. Is that something that you try to focus on a lot? Do you work out pretty regularly while you were on first?
Yeah, for sure. I'm really, it matters to me a lot to work out and keep my muscles intact and keep them working the way it should be. So what I do is I would work out, try to work out 3 days a week, as in maybe Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. And just, like do kind of, like my lower body and my core, and then throw in a little bit of cardio. Not a lot since I already walk like the whole day, but mainly I'm just keeping my muscles intact and having it work the way it should, so I don't get tired or fatigued, on the last round or like throughout the week, throughout long weeks. So it really helps for sure. Just to, like as I mentioned, I have to kind of control my shots off the tee and into the green. So it matters to me to be able to swing the way I want to.
Right, exactly. Well, I know you got to get ready for this week. Cindy, any final thoughts or questions that you have for Patty before we let her go?
No, I just want to say congratulations, best of luck, and keep doing what you're doing, because clearly it's working.
Thank you so much.
All right,
welcome.
Patty, thank you. Yeah, thank you again for joining us this morning here on the Women of Golf, and good luck this week, and keep the putts rolling.
Thanks for having me today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right, very interesting. Cindy, she's just played a few events this year, and she's won 50% of them. I mean, she played 4 events on the Symetra Tour barely a month ago, and closed it out on 2 of the events. So that's a pretty nice record, I think, to have, isn't it?
Absolutely. She's doing what she's supposed to be doing for her.
That's right, exactly. And, I like what she said, too, how, Vision 54 really helped her change her mindset. And I think that's something that a lot of golfers fall into, that trap where they just get too hard on themselves. And, I understand that. I think, that's sort of a par for the course, no pun intended. But I think that's something a lot of golfers, especially our amateur golfers, get caught in. They get, too much focused on the struggles around the golf course and not just sort of, enjoying the moment. Before we bring out Robbie, Cindy, I know you've got a little promotional clip here that we want to play. So why don't you quickly set that up, and then we'll play it, and then we'll introduce Robbie and bring her on the show.
Well, I'm passionate about people using the game of golf as a business tool. And you and I both know, and most people that play golf understand the fact that having 4 hours with someone on a golf course is very important. So go for it.
Take a listen.
Everyone knows business deals are made on the golf course. Knowing how to act is just as important as how you hit it. As an LPGA professional and corporate trainer, I offer workshops, seminars, and executive retreats to teach you how to do both. From the back nine to the boardroom, improve your team from the inside out, or Golf 101 for executives might be the perfect fit for your team. Maybe it's time to make some deals on the course. For more information, go to cindymillerinc.com.
All right, very good. All right, we've got another great guest coming up. Cindy, let me just tell everybody a little bit about her, and we will bring her on the show as well. Our next guest is Robbie Raugh. She's a registered nurse and an internationally known integrative health, fitness, and nutritional practitioner, drawing on her 35-plus years of experience teaching health, nutrition, and fitness classes and running her wellness private practice on a daily basis. She's also hosts her own radio show on faith, family, food, and fitness, The Raw Truth, on WDCX Radio and ESPN 1520 Radio. She's also the co-host of the Carrie and Robbie Show on WDCX Radio, all streaming live worldwide. And she's been seen regularly on ABC TV with her health and nutritional segments, and has been featured on ESPN TV as well. So, Cindy, let's welcome our second special guest this morning, Robbie Raugh.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us.
Well, we're happy.
Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you perfect. Robbie, we're glad to have you join us this morning. Cindy, you go ahead and start things off.
Well, I just met Robbie. I knew she existed because she's a powerhouse in Western New York. But I just met her this year because she chose to learn to play the game of golf. And what I have found is she is so passionate about what she does. She's we're kind of like 2 peas in a pod, basically. So tell us what motivates you to action, Robbie. I want to know.
Well, overall, I don't know. I think the fact is that I've lost 3 family members. I have more family in heaven than I have here, and it's made me realize that we're not promised tomorrow. We have to live that abundant life every single day that I believe we're designed to live. And, that causes me to pack as much as I can in my life because, hey, we never know. Not one of us are promised tomorrow.
Good point.
Right.
Good point.
Yeah, I've been very blessed over all of these years to be able to create. I was a nurse at first. My mom back in the day said to me, would you rather be a teacher or a nurse? I mean, those were the 2 choices back then. And I said, well, I guess I'll be a nurse because I love fitness. I love health. I love the body. And so I started out as a nurse. And back then I saw so many people in the hospital that were, that could have been avoided, whatever they had could have been avoided by living a healthy lifestyle, by being active and by eating right. And I don't know how that came into my mind, but something clicked in my mind. And I realized that I was in sick care rather than health care. And I said to my mom, I know I went through nursing. I've been a nurse for almost 20 years. I want to be on the other end of nursing, which is called preventative nursing. And I want to help people to be well, to stay out of the hospital. And so that's when I really started to focus on healthcare. And I created this, amazing career that I've had over almost 40 years in the healthcare industry. And so golf is part of being active. And I don't know why it took me so long to get into it, but I'm so glad that I am able to do that right now because I can, my husband and I are empty nesters now, and it gives us another thing to do together. And Cindy, you're just incredible. I'm just so grateful and blessed to have met the best to learn from.
Well, thank you. Ted, what do you got for Robbie? Sorry.
Robbie, let me ask you that's I couldn't agree 100% with what you just said, and I want to talk about golf here in just a second, but I want to talk to you a little bit more about fitness. One of the things I think society for many, many years, and I'm referring to, I look at my parents as an example, that generation. I'm in my mid-50s, so that gives you an idea of the range I'm talking about. The idea was, you worked hard and then you retired, you just sort of relaxed, maybe traveled a little bit. There wasn't really a lot of movement. But today's society has changed. People, as you just pointed out, want to be more active. They don't want to really even think about retirement the same way. So how did that help shape you, that sort of mindset to being active? Obviously, you mentioned you have lost some family members here, and our condolences for that. But what do you see different in the way things are changing now towards health and fitness?
That's a great question. I think that people are realizing that they're going to spend either the time and the money, their time and money either in sick care or in health care. I mean, It's a choice for all of us. Either
Right.
way, you're going to spend the time and the money. And I've heard people say, I don't have the time to work out. I don't have the money to eat right. And that's what I say to them. You're going to spend the time and the money either way. And I think more and more people are realizing that. I think that also we have so many different ways to stay motivated and active. We have fit trackers, we have bike trackers, we have watches, we have all kinds of technology right now to help us track what we're doing. And it is motivating. I mean, I'm in a local bike club and, last night we rode a ride and I'm able to see, what my cadence is, how many calories I'm burning, what my friend next to me is doing and everything else. And it's very motivational. But I do believe that really we realize, and I realized how much I'm an author of the book, The Raw Truth, Recharge, 7 Truths to Health and Fitness. In almost my 40 years of being a nutritionist and a fitness buff, if you will, I realized, and I think other people are realizing, that our bodies, our temporary earth suits, the way we take care of them, are affected by our faith, family, food, fitness, detox, sleep, and stress management. It's all related. You cannot do, focus on one thing without the other. And I actually realized that in the game of golf too. I mean, obviously the way you play or perform in any arena has a lot to do with your mental and physical health. So, but if you have an imbalance in, say, your faith or your family, you're living in a toxic relationship, or you're not eating right, or you're not taking care of your body, or you're not managing your stress, or you're not managing your sleep, it's going to affect you in all arenas of your life. It's all integrated.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And, we see it often, seeing as teacher professionals, we see it all the time on the golf course, people bringing their baggage. We laughed one show a few years ago, and, I'd said something along the lines that, people are basically wheeling up like they're going to the airport with their baggage to the lesson tee. And, that's a recipe for disaster right there. So my question to you, we're going to shift to golf now for a little bit, but where have you been all these years on the golf course? You said you didn't get there until late. So what happened? Why was there a delay in coming out and playing this great game?
That's a good question, because I've had a lot of friends who I know have said, Cindy Miller to me. And, I think I have just been so involved in my own arena, in the gym, and in what I do and on the bike. And my husband wasn't into it at the time, and I just thought, well, that's something I'll do, later on in life. But honestly, it's a great way to not only be outside, but also to stay in shape and to help mind, body, soul, spirit. I mean, like I said, it's just as much mental as it is physical, and the way you perform or play has a lot to do with your mental and physical health. So to answer your question, my husband just got into it last year, and again, I was just like, okay, well, I guess if we're going to do things together, the kids are gone now, I better start by taking some lessons, because I don't know what I'm doing.
Well, and that's the best place to start. A lot of folks just grab some clubs and try to go out and play, and they get frustrated because they don't know what to do, and they're not familiar. And it's not even just about playing the game, Cindy. It's I think a lot of folks, and you can attest to this as a teacher professional, is it's the mental side of the game. They don't know how to think on the golf course. They don't even know what to think on the golf course. So talk a little bit about that, Cindy, if you wouldn't mind, just to jump in here about really what you try to do for somebody like Robbie who's first starting out.
I believe that it's very complicated and difficult. I don't want to say difficult, but I didn't realize how much there is to think about to plan, prepare, and produce a golf shot and play a round of golf. And I teach beginners, number one, how to hit the ball. And people say, well, I want to go out and play. And I'm like, okay, we'll do a playing lesson, but you have to be able to hit the ball somewhere where I'm telling you to put it. So the ball striking skill has to come first. And then we have to, how do we aim? And how far do you hit the ball, and where do you want the ball to go? And so when I do playing lessons with beginners, we go to a short 3-hole course with 1 par 4 and 2 par 3s. And typically they say, well, I want to go on the real course. And I go, well, you're not quite ready yet to do that. So I never realized how difficult it is and how much thinking and planning goes into playing a round of golf. So I'm grateful for the opportunity to be able to go to this short 3-hole golf course, because it really helps people understand what needs to happen to be able to go on to the real course. Do you have issues with that, Ted?
Yeah, I think that's spot on. I think that a lot of people want to, sort of put the cart before the horse. And you've got to, you're right, you have to be able to hit. I mean, you certainly don't have to be hitting golf shots perfectly, but you have to have a certain skill, if you will, or a certain level of ability before you get out there, because it only adds to the frustration. And Robbie, somebody that's taken up golf just recently, you can attest that as well, that, you know, you have to be able to hit the ball with some, you know, consistency before you start going out and playing, because it can be very frustrating, correct?
Yes, and you know, I was a little bit intimidated to start playing because, you know, I'm used to mastering what I'm doing, and it was a new thing for me. It still is, but I do have to say that the way Cindy teaches is so encouraging, and honestly, I don't feel intimidated at all. She makes it fun, and I think that, you know, hey, if you miss the ball or you know, it goes over to the right or to the left, it's not a crime. And it's challenging, but it's not intimidating to me, and I really appreciate that.
Well, and I think also too, you know, Robbie, because you come from a fitness background, obviously you've kept yourself in good shape, and that helps a lot out in the golf course, you know, with energy levels and things like that. But also because you know and understand how to pursue, I don't like to use the word perfection, but you know how to pursue certain goals. That's going to help you as well in the golf course with whatever Cindy puts in front of you. Is you're going to be able to, you know, set some goals. And because you, by nature, you've already trained yourself in how to achieve those goals, that's going to help you through the journey of learning to play golf as well.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, I mean, I'm a perfectionist, but, you know, I'm also patient with myself, and I know that it takes training. I mean, I didn't get to where I am physically or, you know, professionally because I quit early. You have to keep going, and you have to keep trying, and it's really about, you know, you against you. That's the way I look at it. I don't feel like I'm comparing myself to anybody else, but you also can't manage what you don't measure. And so you have to continually keep your goal in mind, and also remember where you were, you know, 2 weeks ago, and try and strive for the next step. And that's what I've always done throughout my career. And that's, you know, I'm not one of those people that say, oh, well, you know, today my energy is kind of low, so I'm going to, you know, sit on the couch and eat bonbons. That's not me. You know, if my energy's low, I'm going to do whatever it takes to get it high. And, you know, energy produces energy. That's how you get energy, by moving and by eating right and, you know, by exercising. You cannot say to yourself, I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't have a day of rest. We all do. But I'm just saying that,
right,
you know, you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days, and you just push through them.
Yeah, and well said. And Robbie, that raises a very interesting question about golf, because I think a lot of people don't look at golf as a very physical sport. It's not like football or other sports where there's, you know, contact or a lot of running or things like that. But it takes a lot of stamina to play 18 holes of golf, even 9 holes of golf for some people. So using your knowledge of both fitness and nutrition, particularly nutrition, talk a little bit about, for the benefit of our amateur golfers listening out there, some tips, if you will, that can help them play, not only play better, but perform better when they're out in the golf course.
Well, very good question. And honestly, well, first of all, I was sore the first day I came back from golfing with Cindy. You know, it's, I mean, I never sore. I mean, I'm always pushing, but I felt it in my abs, I felt it in my legs, I felt it in my back, I felt it in my arms. I was telling my friends at the gym, I'm like, you guys, you need to try this, okay? So, you know, it's good. It's really good. It's a physical sport. The other thing is nutrition. I mean, I cannot express enough how important and how paramount, you know, nutrition is. You are what you eat. And I'm Italian. I like to eat. But I have learned that, you know, first of all, you cannot out-exercise a bad diet. You can't just exercise and eat whatever you want. It doesn't work that way. And you also just can't eat right and not exercise. But the thing is, it does your nutrition directly. I mean, you are what you eat. It directly affects both your body composition and your health and the way you perform on a day-to-day basis or the way you go through life. And so I come from the school, I mean, as a nutritionist, I know like 100 dietary theories, and bio-individuality matters. One size does not fit all. In fact, I do DNA testing at my office that helps us determine what your body is going to respond best to in terms of food, fitness, and the whole gamut. So you may respond best to a low-carb diet. Somebody else may respond better to a low-fat diet. But the fact of the matter is, everybody should be eating nutrient-dense foods, the foods of the earth that God created that you don't need to read a label on. You don't need to read a label when you're eating a vegetable or an apple or something like that. What gets us in trouble is we live in a fast food society where we think we can have $1 million body or $1 million bill of health by eating out of a box or a window. And because we're always in this fast mode, we cut corners, and you cannot do that when you're trying to be better in life in any arena. And so, really, I encourage people to eat nutrient-dense foods, the foods of the earth that you don't need to read a label on. It's not brain surgery, but you do need to kind of experiment at first and see what works better for you. I say if it comes from a plant, you can eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't eat it. So if it comes from a plant, you can eat it. If it was made in a plant, don't eat it. It's very simple. If it's white, don't bite unless it's cauliflower. I have all these little sayings that I tell my patients. But really, we need to eat phytonutrients like cauliflower, cruciferous vegetables, cauliflower, broccoli, things like that. And so people say to me, well, Robbie, you don't eat a lot of bread and things like that. I actually don't. I teach 10 classes a week, up to 10 classes a week. I cycle on opposite nights, and I don't eat like wheat bread and white bread and all of that stuff. I eat Ezekiel bread that's flourless, that's equal to eating an egg. It's high in fiber, high in protein, because that's what gives me energy, and it gives me sustainable peak health for a long time. So, it's not about no carb, no fat. I mean, my goodness, when we took the fat out of the food, everybody got fatter and cholesterol went up. Right. So that's not the answer. It's really eating the nutrient-dense foods that you don't need to read a label on. And I kind of encourage people to go through our healthy eating programs and get motivated and knowledgeable, because it's confusing today. You listen to one show or you read a book or you watch TV and it says eat this, not that, and then you read something else and it says no, don't eat that, eat this, and it's so confusing.
Right.
And obviously the science is changing a lot too, but it's not brain surgery. It really is pretty basic, and you got to find out what works for you.
Right. Yeah. No, I agree with that 100%. And just on a side note, I'm Italian too, so I can relate to what you're talking about. We Italians can eat pretty good, but you're exactly right. You raised some very valid points. What you put into your body is going to affect how it operates, and if you're putting a lot of junk food and things like that into that, then it's your performance levels are going to be like a hill climb. It's going to peak and then it's going to crash and so on and so forth. I want to go back, and Cindy, I want to ask you something really quick here. What were you doing to Robbie that caused her to be so sore?
I have no idea. I mean, if I should be in great shape, and I'm not. So, I'm sorry you hurt. You shouldn't have hurt.
Oh no, it's called the beautiful pain. I love it.
Okay.
It only happened the first time. It's just the first time. Thing. But, I mean, you're absolutely right about, your blood sugar. You want to stabilize your blood sugar throughout the day, especially if you have you're on the course. your key is to stabilize your blood sugar so you don't have these peaks and lows in your blood sugar and you're not feeling dizzy. And also hydration is so important. I mean, I tell my patients, drink half of your body weight in ounces of water per day minimum. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you should be drinking 50 ounces of water per day minimum. But if you're out on the course and you're sweating, or you're out on the bike and you're sweating, you need to pick that up. Hydration is so important. And drinking filtered water without chlorine, lead, and fluoride out of a glass or stainless steel bottle is also important. And getting back to being Italian, I was just going to say, our grandmother's wheat is not the wheat we eat today. Our pasta that our grandmother made is not the pasta that we have today, which is why it's flipping on today's wheat and today's pasta is flipping on that metabolic switch, which signals our body to store fat, particularly in the midsection. So, the food is so different today.
Yeah, and that you're exactly right. It seems that what we're eating now is making us fatter, yet it's supposed to be making us healthier, and it's just not the case. Cindy, go ahead. I know you've got some final questions here for Robbie as well.
So tell us in 150 words or less, what should our listeners be doing to be in better shape and keep hydrated on the golf course and eat the right amounts while they're playing golf for 4.5 hours?
Well, I'm glad you said eat the right amounts, because portions do matter. And even if you're on the course for 4 to 5 hours, those portions still matter. You're not going to eat a large portion. You can't supersize. But really, for peak health, focusing on protein and fiber with every meal. So protein and fiber with every meal. So say, for lunch, you're going to have, salmon and a salad. For breakfast, you're going to have, eggs and a piece of Ezekiel toast. You don't have to have 3 pieces of Ezekiel toast, especially if you're trying to manage your weight. And then, for dinner, again, focusing on protein and vegetables. And there are, ways to have pasta, but it's not, the type of pasta that most people think I eat is not what I eat. I eat, spaghetti squash and black bean pasta and red bean pasta and chickpea pasta and things like that. But really, in terms of overall, focusing on protein and vegetables is key to stabilize your blood sugar. And then, as you said, the hydration, drinking before, during, and after exercise is paramount, especially when you're outside and, the sun is out, protecting your skin as well, being careful what we put on our skin, being careful what we put in our bodies, because truly we are what we eat. Both being careful with what we put in our bodies and what we put in our mind. As I said, I do believe that the way we perform, no matter what arena we're in, has a lot to do with our mental and physical health. So be careful, not just what we put in our bodies, but what we put in our mind is equally important.
Well,
right.
Thank you.
Well said. Yeah, that was
I don't
perfect.
know if that was 150 words. I'm Italian. I could go on and on.
No, that was perfect. Cindy, any other follow-up questions?
Tell us how we can get a hold of your book.
Oh, thank you so much. Right now you can get it from me here in Buffalo, New York. You can email me at robbie@robbierough.com, or you can get it on Amazon. Next week I'll be speaking at Kingdom Bound, which is the largest arts and music festival. It's at Darien Lake, and there's thousands of people from all over the country and Canada coming. I'll have my new book released there as a pre-release, and you can get it from me there.
And tell us again what the name of the book is.
It's The Raw Truth Recharge, 7 Truths to Health and Fitness.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure.
And you can also find you, Robbie, on the Raw Truth on WDCX radio and ESPN 1520 radio as well, for those of you who want to tune in and get some great advice. Robbie, thank you very much for joining Cindy and I this morning. It's been very interesting, and we're going to have you come back again because there's so much that we could talk about here, and unfortunately we're out of time for this morning, but we will definitely have you back on the show again and get into a little bit more specifics about health and fitness. And particular nutrition for some of our listeners out there who maybe want some better life choices to make. They want to play their best golf, especially as for some of us that are moving towards our later half of life. And there's some great tips I know that you can provide. So we'll definitely have you come back on. But we want to thank you this morning for joining us here on the Women of Golf.
Well, thank you for having me, and people can go to RobbieRaugh.com for more information, and I hope everybody has a blessed day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Robbie. See you soon.
Okay, God bless. Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Robbie Raugh joining us this morning. Great attitude, Cindy, and I know you will serve her well and just don't work her too hard so she won't be sore the next time, but I know you've got some good plans for her to help her learn and enjoy this game for many, many years, both her and her husband. We want to thank everybody for joining us this morning here on the Women of Golf Show, and we're glad to be back on air, and we hope you'll tune in next week as we have some more interesting guests, and we talk about some of the things that will help you to get the best out of your game. So on behalf of Cindy Miller, I'm Ted Odorico. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this morning on the Women of Golf. We'll see you next Tuesday. God bless everybody. Thanks, Cindy.
Thanks, Ted. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening this morning to the Women of Golf Show. Tune in live each week by visiting blogtalkradio.com/Women of Golf or on any of these social media platforms: iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, CastBox, TalkStream Live, and of course Spotify. If you can't join us live, check out our on-demand section for previously aired broadcasts. To get updates for future shows and upcoming guests, you can follow us on Facebook at Women of Golf. You can also follow me on Twitter at TedandBuckCEO and Cindy at Cindy Miller Golf. Please remember to join us next week on the Women of Golf Show. See you next time. This has been a production of the iGolf Sports Network.